Hey Eagle fans, it's EaglefanKarl. This is going to be my prediction video for Sunday afternoon's game against the Minnesota Vikings. And I really don't know what to think of this game after what we had against the Titans. It's really sort of, the team has really got to respond because there was some clear issues I think that are going on in terms of guys that maybe have not given their full effort, or maybe they thought that they didn't have to, or they've gotten lazy, or whatever it is. But there's some guys that need to really step up their game and play better. I really think this defense has got to decide, just how good it thinks it's going to be. And now I know they're going to be back at home where they seem to always do better. So I guess the defense will be good in this game, but this is a team that they're going to be playing against that a lot of our vulnerabilities could potentially be exposed again. I'm talking specifically of the Vikings offense. And the Vikings offense this year has been, sort of middle of the league when it comes to both, yards per game. They're a little below average in points per game, but there's a real split in their pass and running defense, or excuse me, on their pass and running offense. They're fifth in the league when it comes to passing yards, but they're dead last in the league when it comes to running yards. So they've really had a hard time getting their running game going. I think a lot of that also has to do with the fact Dalvin Cook has not been healthy. And maybe he will be healthy with the extended break that they have coming into this game after playing on a Thursday night. So maybe he'll have had a little rest. He's had some hamstring issues. But I think overall their running game has suffered this year. But they're able to make plays in the passing game, and they've been able to make big plays in the passing game. And Kirk Cousins always seems to play well against us. He never seems to show up when it really matters at the end of the season. But if he's playing us like in a game like this, where it's early in the regular season, this is usually where he's done well against us. And the fact that they are able to make big plays concerns me given the way our defense has been playing. And I know some of it is, the fact that our defense plays better at the link. But I think eventually some of that's going to just end up falling out, in terms of just how the games have played out and who we've been playing at home versus on the road. And the only real big, explosive offense we've been able to play at home and hold down has been the Atlanta Falcons. Some of the other teams that we've beaten that don't have great offenses, last year in the playoffs against the Vikings, Case Keenum really didn't scare me in terms of their deep threat. I think Kirk Cousins is a lot better in that regard. With Andrew Luck, the week before, we certainly were able to hold him back. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that he's still not 100%. We really haven't been tested a lot lately at home against an explosive offense. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how our team responds to playing against a really good offense, at home. Think of it this way: the last time this offense gave up over 20 points in a game at home at the Link was on the Monday night game against Washington, and who was the quarterback? It was Kirk Cousins. So I fully expect Kirk Cousins is going to be able to make plays against our defense, especially the way our defense is playing right now. Now, the only thing that that helps us then is their defense has not been playing well. Everyone was so impressed with the way the Vikings defense was last year. I don't know if it's that we showed the league something in the NFC Championship game as to how to beat this team, but we certainly will be able, I think, to make plays against Minnesota, and we'll be able to make big plays against Minnesota. So for that reason, I'm not as worried. You look at their defense is below average when it comes to points and yards per game, and they're worse off against the pass than they are the run. They're just a little above average against the run, but they're below average against the pass. So I think this is going to be a game it's going to end up being a lot of big plays, and whoever makes the most of those big plays is going to end up winning this thing. And that is concerning given the fact the way our secondary has been playing as of late. All that said, though, I think our defense does seem to play a little bit better at home for whatever reason. I think the crowd obviously helps with that as well. I think we will get some pressure on Kirk Cousins. He's known to make mistakes when he gets under pressure. We're a -3 this year on turnovers, but the Vikings are a -2, so they're not doing much better in that category either. So if we're able to maybe get some turnovers and make a few big plays on offense and if our offensive line starts playing up to its capabilities, then I think that we will be able to win this game and make more big plays than they are and be able to win this thing. And I think that's what does happen. For that reason, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Eagles to win this thing. I think the Eagles score 30-24. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this thing and a lot of back and forth and sort of going down to the very end in terms of who's going to potentially win this thing. Now, when the schedule had come out, I had looked at the first 4 games, and I'd said, you know, I had thought when it first came out that we could go 4-0 in that opening stretch. But as we got closer to the season, I thought 3-1 was a more likely scenario. Obviously, 2-2 now, so we need to make up some ground somewhere. I had thought these next 2 games against the Vikings and then the short week against the Giants that we would probably split those. So I think we need to at least win one of these 2, if not both of them, to really get back in a groove. Hopefully that's what we'll be able to do. I think a lot of it's going to have to come down to the offensive line. And if they're able to give Carson Wentz time, I think we'll be able to make some plays on offense in both these next 2 games. Like I said, I think a lot of it comes down to how our offensive line plays and if we're able to give him some protection that's sorely needed. So, like I said, that's going to go ahead and be my prediction for this game. Let me know in the comments what you think, though. Do you think that we'll be able to beat the Vikings? Do you think it's going to be sort of a difficult one? Do you think it's going to be a blowout? Do you think we have no chance? Leave your comments below with your prediction. Obviously, I'll go ahead and check in after the game and let you know what I think about what happened with the Vikings game. Until then, fly Eagles fly.